Good morning. Let's see here if we'll get Catherine. Jumped on here with us. Bring them on. They denied her access. Oh, there we go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I just tried to get you on there and it said, no, you cannot bring her on right now. Some sort of.
Oh.
But you're there. There you are. All right, good.
Weird.
Awesome. Is it quiet when I talk through that phone or is it loud? Can you hear me pretty well?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, when you talk through it, it's kind of quiet. I don't know why that is.
Is your
Sometimes
volume just turned down?
yeah. I do think, yeah, I turned it up. I think I'm good. What does this thing do? I hit that button. Oh, never mind. It doesn't let me do anything. I can't hit that button. All right. Either way, no big deal. Let's go ahead and move on. Your health is your wealth, right? You know, investing in your better future, all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about finances today. And let's talk really quick. By the way, the challenge and the information that we have in there that's in this program, that's all throughout the on the site and everything. Really, $29 a month. I mean, oh, hang on here, Catherine. Unbelievable, right? It's
Yeah.
Well, I can hear you now. What'd you do different?
I didn't do anything.
Oh wow, that was awesome. I can totally hear you now. Normal. That was excellent.
That's
I
weird.
didn't know what I did. Yeah, totally crazy. All right. Anyway, so finances, right? We're talking about what we're learning, and I'm going to go over a couple of things really quick and we're going to kind of bounce back and forth, Catherine, you and I. You know, what's your greatest asset, really, right? Your car, not your house, there's so many things, but really this is it. This is what we got. People talk about, you got health insurance and all this other stuff. Really insuring your own health. I'm going to give you a list of things you can do to ensure your health, right? Like, just walking, getting outside. I mean, there's so many different things that don't cost anything. However, they're very valuable to your health. Overall expenditure, I want to go over this really quick. In the United States, chronic diseases are the leading drivers of the nation's $4.5 trillion annual healthcare costs. I mean, and when you talk about chronic disease, Catherine, what is chronic disease?
Just like disease that has been going on for a while and that doesn't stop.
Yeah, usually like a lifestyle condition, really. It's not like genetic, right? It's more of this, you do these things over and over and over, and you end up with a disease process, right? I didn't cut my finger, right? That would be an acute deal. That's something that's chronic that you've been dealing with. And so, but it's not always your fault either, Catherine. We can't blame them for this chronic disease because they've been taught, they've been marketed, they've been, your boss is expecting you to be here, 70 hours a week, like I do for Catherine. Like there's a lot of those type of stressors that are put on us, or we internalize them ourselves anyway. We just kind of think that these are our stressors, right? We want to impress the boss. We want to do this. We want to do that. We want to kind of, we want to have good relationships with our kids. Who knows, right? And so we change up some of that and it causes stress on us. So I'll go over a couple more things. Specific conditions, that $4.5 trillion, heart disease and stroke. Number one drug out there right now. It's getting close. There's some other ones climbing, a little bit more for mood and stuff like that. But number one is what, Catherine? What's
statin?
Yeah, statin, a cholesterol medication, cholesterol lowering medication. Guess what? If we lower cholesterol, should we see some things get better? Right? Heart disease, stroke, guess what? 944 over 944 American deaths annually are a result of heart disease and stroke. Got it? 1/3 of all deaths. And it's $250 billion per year. Wow. I mean, that's unbelievable. And yet we're still on our statin. And by the way, of those people, I guarantee you almost 90% of those people are on a statin medication or a blood pressure lowering medication. Got it? Do you think they forgot to take that medication that day that they
No.
Yeah, wasn't the factor. Wasn't the factor at all. In fact, there's more and more pay attention, you guys. TikTok and all that, so TikTok or whatever, you know, the Instagram, all that stuff is coming up with all this information about it, how it really doesn't move them toward health. It just lowers a number. And instead of asking the question, that number's elevated, why? Probably due to stress, probably due to lifestyle, probably due to all these chronic conditions. Anyway, diabetes. 38 million Americans have diabetes, with an annual 98 million adults having pre-diabetic or pre-diabetic. And that's, you know, along with fatty liver and all this other stuff. I mean, that is chronic conditions. That is not a genetic disorder. Not at all. That is literally your body is just adapting to the sugar, the carbohydrates, and things like that. And I want to go over that. In 22, the estimated cost of diagnosed diabetes was over 413 billion in medical expenses and lost productivity. When we say lost productivity, that just means they weren't at work.
Yeah.
They were at the hospital. They were doing something else, right? The next one here I'm going to go over. By the way, I'm going to shock you with the fourth one. Obesity affects 20% of the population, of the children, I'm sorry, and 42% of adults, leading to increased risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, certain cancers, or obesity-related healthcare costs. Nearly, you ready for this? $173 billion annually. Just push the food away. I'm full or whatever, right? Just something to try and, you know, or get out and exercise or do something that's proactive. These are things that are out there that are just devastating our economy, our, you know, the healthcare of our population. But here's the kicker. I just gave you three things, but the third leading cause of death, Catherine, what's the third leading cause of death? Do you know, or have we talked about it?
Medications.
Oh, here we go. Over 250,000 deaths every year are caused by the medical community. Now, here's the kicker, right? Let's go over that too. 12,000 unnecessary surgery deaths. So in other words, this was an elective surgery. This was not a life-threatening. We had to do it. 7,000 medication errors in hospitals. Where do we go when we're sick?
Hospital.
Yeah. Here's another case. Here's another one. 20,000 errors, other errors. They just said other errors in hospitals of deaths, 20,000 deaths. 80,000 infections in hospitals. You go there to get rid of the infection, not to get the infection.
Yeah.
80,000 people per year are dying. 106. This is mind-blowing. 106,000 people are dying from non-error. Got it? This is not a problem. Negative effects of properly prescribed prescriptive medications every year. That's a couple jet airplanes going down. If that was happening, wouldn't we figure out why the planes were falling out of the sky, Catherine? I mean, you know, you're like, whoa, we're seeing planes crash all the time. We got to figure this out. Nothing's being done. It's called a lobby, all that other stuff, medications, whatever. In a car crash, do we ever check and see if anybody was on some sort of antidepressant or medication or something else that could impair their ability to drive or operate a vehicle? No. They check and make sure. They check and make sure that they're not drinking alcohol. They check and make sure they're not on marijuana or something like that. They don't check their prescriptions. They could literally have a purse full of properly prescribed medications, and they're not being cited for that. Well, I mean, of course, you got to be careful what's going on, but it's interesting how all this stuff goes together and literally what we're dealing with. And this is where you guys are starting to see it right out there, right? You know, Kennedy's starting to talk about what's in our food and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is what chiropractic we've been talking about forever. You got to take care of what? Your spine, your body, your health. This is it. And what you put in replaces that tissue. So let's go over a couple of main points, right? Kath, I'm gonna let you roll with a couple ideas. I'm just gonna kind of roll into like that health is the investment, not an expense, right? Talk about that a little bit, Catherine. What does that mean?
Yeah, so basically, like, we want to invest in our health to prevent these chronic diseases from developing and having to, essentially pay for these diseases in the long
Right.
term. We want to, invest ahead of time and prevent these from occurring, because then we're going to be paying for it, like in medical bills, and also just like not being able to do the things that we want to do. Like our quality of life will take a big turn if we, develop into these diseases. So if we can prevent them ahead of time by investing in things that are good for us, um, like quality food,
Yeah.
supplements, maybe a gym membership. But some of these things don't even have to be, something that you're spending
Spending.
lots of money on. It doesn't have to be a big investment. It can be even just like an investment in time, making time for, getting some exercise in, even going for a walk or doing like a fit in 10 at home. Like our health membership is only $29 a month, and you get exercises that you can do at home in just 10 minutes. You can get healthy recipes, all this great information that will help you take care of your health. And it's such a small expense. So it doesn't have to be like, that you're spending thousands of dollars a month to take care of your health, but just making sure that we are taking proactive steps.
Yeah, right. And like you said, and they don't have to be expensive. However, like some things that we talk about, healthcare would be, a chiropractic care, proper nutrition, like you said, doing
Mhm.
supplementation if we need to. If you
Mhm.
feel like you're weaker or something like that. Hey,
Yeah.
even things like just going and getting a routine blood work.
Mhm.
Just check what's going on. Dental care is huge, to just check and see if there's infections going on in your mouth. Just because there's no pain, maybe there's not you don't feel like there's anything going on. There can
Mhm.
be problems with that. We do. What was one of the things I asked you to do in the mornings with your tongue?
Oh, tongue scrape.
Tongue scrape. They found out now that that actually helps with nitric oxide, the bacteria, so it can help with blood pressure. I mean, how
And
cool
it's
is that?
like what, $5 on Amazon or something. They're not
No, I
expensive.
got you the real
Oh,
nice ones, Catherine. They were like, 50. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, they're nothing. It's very
yeah.
inexpensive. Or your toothbrush, for crying out loud. But it's not that big a deal. But we don't know about this, maybe, right? Maybe, Catherine, maybe
Mhm.
that's something that we don't know about, so we don't know that that's even beneficial. Um,
Mhm.
but I think that's one of the things that we need to start talking about. Like $100 investment for a gym membership will save thousands on medical bills, because another thing about going to the gym, now I love the fit and tens and I love to work it out at home. In fact, I used to go to work out with some buddies. Now we're kind of changing up because we're doing it at home stuff. But like the fellowship,
Mhm.
the camaraderie, the being around people, that
Yeah.
is the biggest. I mean, that is such a benefit for us, which during the, whatever when we had that big cold come out, back there a while ago. Anyway, when that was rolling around, like they told you to isolate. Everybody couldn't be around their friends, right? We couldn't go to church. We couldn't do the things that just like that congregation, that community, that sense of community. That's what I love about even the chiropractic office that we're in.
Mhm.
Because we could do and sit and do this type of Zoom call all day long and talk to people. And this is not interacting. You know what I mean? There's no
Right.
touch, there's no personal, there's an attention to it because we're doing something, but it's not. We're missing and lacking so much of that connection. And I think that's a big deal too. So it can be Pilates, it can be yoga, it can be Tai Chi, it can be like, it doesn't have to be CrossFit. It doesn't have to be like something that's really strenuous too. It can just be something that's moving you in a direction toward health.
Mhm.
Going on a walk, like when we go to lunch, we all walk over, what I mean? It's just walking as a group. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that. Um, because it does pay off for you to start paying attention to what you're putting in and what you're doing. And you can't hesitate. You've got to act. You got to start doing something now. If you wait for until there's a problem, Catherine, it's been stewing for a period of time.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. And
Yeah.
I like kind of looking back and talking about what you're doing, for what your credit card statements are. If you think you're investing in your health, well, look and see what some of your payments are.
Mhm.
You know, uh,
And where can you make some shifts? Like,
perfect. And you have to.
because people tend to say like, oh, organic food is so expensive, but then they don't really hesitate to go out to dinner 3 times a week or pick up lunch from fast food or, these things that aren't serving their health. It's like, well, you could spend, if you cut that out and you could shift some of that money to spend on healthier food that you could eat at home,
Yeah.
then you ought to actually probably save some money.
You definitely would, right? Because you think about it now, the cost has gone up. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it, right? And serving sizes may not be, they still seem apparently, they appear to be larger, but a lot of times too. And then when you cook at home, Catherine, do you know what oils you're cooking with? Yeah. Do you know what kind of type of meat you're grabbing? It's these ideas that we're talking about that make you kind of go, if I shop at Whole Foods and it's called a health food store, if you're not shopping at those stores, what are those stores called? If mine's a health food store, what's everybody else's store called? Right? So start thinking through these ideas that we're just kind of ingrained in. I just go to get this. I got to go pick up a couple things, do that. And Catherine, you do a great job of like planning kind of, meal plan, meal prep. Those are investments in your health. Taking the time to review, what am I going to eat? What's going to happen? Where am I going? Right. Maybe we can even talk about a little bit more about some food sensitivity tests that we just ran on myself, that are out there that we can use if ever you guys have questions, you want to look in to see if there's some food sensitivities. People say we test, not guess. Well, I mean, come on, eating, the regular dairy out there is probably not going to be a source of good dairy to help you get healthy. Do you need to test that to find that out?
No.
Probably not, right? Yeah. The gluten that we're eating right now that is completely, overrun with glyphosate. Do we really think that we need to test to see if we're sensitive to that gluten? Which some people are, but it's starting to become more evident that it's not so much about the gluten as it is about the glyphosate, which is destroying the gut microbiome, which is destroying the bacteria, obviously, in our guts, which is going to dysregulate a lot of mood, a lot of, we've talked about this. We don't have to go deep down that rabbit hole. But let's name a few things that they can do that would cost nothing, or that we could do to just kind of move you in a direction that would be investing in your health. Give me. You already gave a couple of them. Go ahead though, Catherine. You got anything else you want to add, or?
I mean, like exercising, of course, doesn't have to cost money.
Nope. Body weight stuff, right? You don't even have to have equipment.
Yeah.
Walk.
You can do squats, you can do push-ups, you can do lunges, all these things you can do at home. Like breathing exercises. If you like have a lot of stress, you feel like overwhelmed, and that can be a great stress reliever and doesn't cost any money. Anything like journaling, meditation, those things don't cost money either.
That's what I was going to talk about. Perfect. That's it. I mean, seriously. And sleep. Let's not forget sleep. How important is sleep? When are you in growth and repair?
Why you sleep?
Yeah. So if we're not sleeping enough, maybe we're not getting that adequate growth and repair, and we're just burning that candle, and that candle's starting to get really, really, small, right? Yeah, I love that idea. And when you start talking about that mindfulness and that meditation, some people do Tai Chi. Take 10 minutes and just put your hand on your belly and do some breathing exercises. I mean, just simple things to just kind of, and as I get older, I start to see that I do care about who I'm around. I do care about the time I'm spending. I do care about I got a great job because I get to help people every time. I put my hands on people and I literally get to help them every day. So, you won't hear me complain often about that. So I don't really go, oh, I have to go to work today. No, I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. I'm looking forward to it. I think so does Catherine. Okay, good. So she nodded her head a little bit. I saw that. It was kind of an agreement. But that's the idea. And so, and if you don't like your job, don't just quit it. I mean, good golly, don't just do that. But think about other ways to kind of migrate into something that more fits or suits your, what you want to do. It's, the grass is not always green on the other side, but if there's things going on that you need to kind of transition to, please look. I mean, it's one of those things that I think is just, it's important. And we talk about these things that don't cost anything. Hey, you want to talk about another habit you could, or things that you could do? Quit smoking. Got it if you smoke. Maybe even tone down the alcohol. Maybe even increase your water intake. What's that?
Alcohol is expensive.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, Catherine knows. No, okay. So yeah. So hydration, the water, right? Really important. Like, I mean, we don't just have something that you got there that you can kind of just go to and drink, and you're on. Another thing too, and here we are, limit your screen time. I mean, this is important, but limit your screen time or wear your cool glasses. Oh, I wasn't wearing my glasses today, Catherine. I should have my glasses on. But let's just talk a couple more things about financial planning and things like that. Plan for your health. If you have a health savings account, you can use that on a lot of different things. Wow, by the way, how cool is that right now? A lot of the insurance things, you can use that for at the grocery store. You can use that for even meeting with dietitians. You can use that for. There's so many things that you can use that for now that really kind of can move you in a direction. The problem is you better find somebody who understands this information, because a lot of that food pyramid and round plate crap that's out there is not going to move you toward health, right? You got to find some that's got the information that you're working on. And then budget in that, budget into for your health too. Like get some ideas, like put some money aside for a gym membership or a yoga or, cycle or Rama or whatever, or even sauna, cold plunging or doing the ice therapy or things like that.
Or getting a gym membership that has a sauna in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and come on, the research is out there. Red light therapy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. PMF. I guess there's so much out there now that they're talking. It's this total industry about biohacking. Like we're going to biohack. We're going to figure out how to, make the body last longer or healthier. And some of the stuff that's coming up, man, we knew back when Dr. D'Onofrio was teaching. That's the card right here behind me. Right there. That guy. Right there. That taught us. He was this great, brilliant diplomat in neurology and stuff. All these things, PQQ, and like the mitochondrial growth and development, all this stuff, kind of NAD, like these nutrients that we may not put you on because they get expensive when you start taking all of these things. But if you look at this as not an expense, but I want to prolong this, I want this to be on top of stuff as long as possible. I'm trying not to use glasses. I'm stressing my eyes a little bit. I'm trying to feed my eyes so I can get some feedback, whether or not my eyes can get stronger at my age. I'm trying to, kind of see if that helps. So there's so many things that you can be doing. And that's where we are. We're not only are we your guides through this process, Catherine, we're also our own experiments. We're doing something. We're doing the vitamins. We are doing it. We're testing, we're seeing, we're playing around with this. And we're human. So we're right here. This is not, and you guys can see, touch, talk to us if you have questions, things like that. Please do that. I really like the idea of the financial stuff. It's, part of the 4 F's of living the dream, right? Fuel, function, focus, and finance. That finance is a big one. We got to pay attention to what we're putting in. We got to really kind of see what that is all about. So, Catherine, love it. Without us talking even longer, because this is a cool topic. We can talk for hours about it. I think we got some good takeaways. The good takeaways are, let's figure out what you can do that doesn't cost a lot of money, but builds on your wealth for your health for later. Make sense? So let's talk about those things, right? Really, like the water, the exercise, the meditation, breath work, things like that, right? Fellowship, right? Kind of like that kind of stuff too. Group, community, things like that. Finding that group that kind of work with, or share this, the challenge with somebody else so they can do it with you and they can benefit from it, right? And move us all in a direction, and we'll keep doing this stuff for you to kind of give you a little bit more tidbits. But I think the biggest takeaway is really your health is not an expense. It is if you have a disease and you got to work through it. But let's try to let's not get the disease process. Let's work that we can to help us move in a direction that's toward health and do these small things. Catherine, anything else you want to add to that, or that we need to kind of hit home?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, went over a bunch. So, Catherine, what else do we got next? What's next on the on our agenda?
We have another Zoom next Tuesday, 4 o'clock Eastern.
What's that gonna be about? Or can we give them a little hint?
You can give them a little hint. We're gonna go over supplementation.
Wow, good thing you're gonna be on that one. I have no idea about that stuff, because that's crazy. No, yeah, right. And are there so many things that we can supplement with? Are there so many different companies and so many different products and so many different things? How do we organize all that? Oof, it's a good idea to talk about it. Catherine, brilliant once again. Thank you guys for paying attention. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate you sharing with your friends and family. If you got any other questions, this was a good one, Catherine. Thank you very much for putting this together today. We'll talk to you guys again on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your week. 1% better. Keep striving. Let's go. Don't give up. Keep working on it. And then actually, you know what? Celebrate some of those victories too. If you do something that's like, wow, you know what, I went to bed early, and, you know, or I, you know,
Yeah.
I fasted for a little bit longer, or I got my water in, you know, just, you know, whatever those celebrations are, really, you know, hang on to those, really celebrate them, and get excited about them. So
Mm-hmm.
awesome, Catherine. Thank you again.
Mm-hmm.
See you on Tuesday.
Bye.